Welcome back, guys. So we're out here in the shop. 36 foot wide, 48 foot deep, 16 foot tall eaves. That means the ceiling in here is 16 foot tall. And you're wondering how much it cost me to build this. I've got my receipts all added up, my notes right here, fairly itemized out into the different categories, the different parts of the build. Let's see how much it cost. And before we get into these notes, if you just tuned into this video and you haven't been watching this build from the start, I'll tell you right now I saved a lot of money. I have my own sawmill outside and my own trees on my property that I cut down to mill out of my sawmill for this build. But if you were to go buy the lumber at the lumber yard, I have those prices right here in this price list too. So I have my cost, what it cost me to put this building up, and what it'll cost you if you go buy everything. The first thing we did for the build, we got these sonotubes in the ground, poured concrete in them with the brackets, and that holds the poles for the pole barn. There's 14 poles in this pole barn, one every 12 foot. So we've got sonotubes. Sonotubes cost $171. Concrete, $305. And these heavy duty brackets, these are expensive. $420 for these brackets right here. You get the shorty little brackets that only come about this high, but I chose to go with the big brackets with the big bolts go through it, just in case a heavy wind comes by, it doesn't pick this building up and take it away. 14 6x6 pressure treated posts. I put 12 foot 6x6 beams between all the posts, and then 2x6 on top of that as an upper top plate to make sure that wall stays nice and straight. So the price on 14 6x6 16 foot long pressure treated posts, 14 12 foot long 6x6 beams, and 2x6 to cover all of that was $2,200. On to the diagonal supports. Now I wanted some shear support for this building because it gets kind of windy around here. And these 16 foot tall walls, it's a big sail for that wind to catch, start moving things around. So I made some diagonal supports out of rebar, bolts, and lag bolts. Now the nuts and bolts right here and the lag bolts, they got lumped into the nuts and bolts category in my estimate here. The rebar was $170. That's going to keep my building from moving anywhere for a long time. Now moving up, we have trusses and a metal roof. So I put trusses 2 foot on center on my building, and it cost me $5,654.20 for those trusses. The purlins you see up there, I milled those out. Then we have house wrap, and on top of the house wrap, we have metal roofing. The metal roofing cost me $2,600. So I have house wrap on the roof, and I also have house wrap on the walls. I went through 4 rolls of house wrap at $99 a roll. So that's $400 for house wrap to wrap this whole building. So you notice how bright it is in here. I spent $500 on 24 4-foot LED lights going around this shop. Every corner of the shop, all the way around, it's all lit up. Not a problem seeing out here. Inexpensive, 4-foot long LED lights. I'll leave a link to those in the description. If you like them, go check them out. Turn around and we'll check out the rest of the electrical. So I went with a 200 amp main. That way, I've always got space to add something if I want to. Right now, I've only got 5 spaces taken up. 4 for lights, 1 for outlets. I have 4 light switches, and they all have their own breaker. 1 outlet breaker with 8 outlets on it. That's all I have so far. In this price is also the wire that runs from this panel to my 400 amp main and the conduit to put that in. So total price for the electrical in this shop, $1,139.76. On this estimate, we have a screws, nuts, and bolts category. This is a big one. Everything on this building is screwed together or nutted and bolted together. Even the board and batten on this building is screwed on. It's not nailed on. Now we have big bolts, hold the 6x6s, those brackets, Big bolts hold the door hinges to the 6x6s and the door hinges to the doors. All kinds of miscellaneous screws, nuts, and bolts. And all those total up to $749.45. That's a lot of screws, nuts, and bolts. And we're not quite done yet. We've still got more to do. But at this point, that's what the total is. My estimate also has a miscellaneous category. Miscellaneous is anything too small to list by itself, but not really another place I could list it. Little brackets that went here and there, the conduit for the door handles I made, the rubber for the dog door, anything that didn't really fit into a different category, but I didn't want to list separately because it would just take too long to list it all out. In my case, my miscellaneous category added up to $424.73. So that brings us to an end on what I spent money on for this building. I milled out the board and batten, I milled out the purlins for the walls, I milled out the wood for the door, but I did that because I have a sawmill, and I wouldn't have a sawmill if I wasn't going to use it. I use it to save myself a ton of money. Now, if you need to go out and buy this stuff because you don't have a sawmill, I've got prices for that. We'll start with the roof purlins. I milled out my own roof purlins. Typically, people use 1x4 for roof purlins. So enough roof purlins to do this roof the way I did, 1x4s would cost you $1,400. Wall purlins. Most people, when they have 6x6s, 12 foot apart, they use 2x6 wall purlins. Enough wall purlins to go and do exactly what I did here on the spacing. $1,664 for wall purlins. There's lots of different style doors you can put in a shop. I built these two doors. They span 12 foot between them, and they're 14 foot tall. I built the doors, the latches, the hinges, everything about them. If you're going to go buy a door that's going to span 12 foot and 14 foot tall, it's going to run you about $2,000. I don't know if that comes with an opener or a chain opener, anything like that. I just priced the door. So you might have to add a little bit more in for the different options you want. There's a lot of different options for siding out there. If you don't have a mill to mill out your own siding and you want to go the cheapest route, the least expensive route on siding, keeping in mind 16 foot tall walls, we're talking 16 foot tall walls, 48 by 36 building. The cheapest way to side this that I could find would run you $3,681.98. So the total price that I have in this building year to date, using my sawmill to my full advantage and the trees on my property, I have $14,733.64 in this building the way it sits right now. Now, if you don't have a sawmill, you don't have a way to mill this stuff out, you want to go buy your roof purlins, your wall purlins, and the cheapest siding you can possibly side it with, you're going to spend an extra $8,745, making the total $23,478.64. And that's still if you do all the work yourself. If you hire it out, it's going to go up from there. I hope you liked the video, guys. Show you how much money you can save building your own building, how much more money you can save if you have your own mill and your own trees to make your own lumber. The only thing I don't have out here yet is a heater, and it's about 30 degrees. So I'm going to head inside and get warmed up. But don't forget to smash that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, little bell for notifications. If you feel like supporting the channel, we have Patreon, Subscribestar, and the Amazon affiliate link all down there in the description. Until next time, go make something.